Hello everyone, I am Mr. Purnasagar Adhikari, lecturer in Civil Engineering in SKDAV Government Polytechnic, Rourkela. Today in this session I am going to teach you the subject strength of material. This is first lecture. So before going to that subject, I should give you some idea about this subject. So this subject is generally we are studying in both the branch, that is civil engineering and mechanical engineering. This is the basic concept we should know about this subject so that we can link to other subject. So what is strength? Before designing any building, any structure, any machine design, we should know the strength of that materials used in this structure. So before construct of any building, we are using different materials. So we should know the strength so that we can calculate the load. So we can हम किसी को बोल सकते हैं, किसी लेमैन को या नॉन इंजीनियरिंग पीपल को, कि बोलते हैं वेट इतना दो ये स्ट्रक्चर को तो ये नहीं टूटेगा, वहाँ पे इतना लोड दो तो ये नहीं टूटेगा. सो वी कैन कैलकुलेट द लोड. सो इन टेक्निकल टर्म the strength of material is defined by one term, that is stress. After calculation of this stress, we can relate the term with that strength. So in this session, I will cover the stress. Okay. So before going to that, we should know what is the stress. Stress is nothing but one internal resistance of a body. If one external tension or compression force will be applied to one structure. So stress is generally different types. So normally it is two types. One is direct normal stress, another one is direct bending stress. Today in this session we will cover both direct normal stress and bending stress. So first we will see what is direct normal stress. So to understand this, we can take one example. So I am taking one body, suppose AB. In this body, suppose this is the neutral or central axis. Okay. So here I am giving one load, that can be denoted by P or you can denote by F. So I am denoting here, that is P. So this is one body. So here you can see this is tensile force. If I will give you the force like this, this will be compressive. So this is called tensile force. That is why I am denoting, suppose for understanding purpose, that is T. If you want to denote is F, you can denote. No problem in it. So here you can see I am repeating repeatedly, that is the force is passing through the centroidal axis. If it will not pass to the central axis, the case will be different. We will study the later. So in the first case I am teaching you when the load is passing through the CG, that is center of gravity, or central axis and neutral axis you can tell. So what is the difference between central axis and neutral axis, that we will cover later. Here you can see that is already you have studied in mechanics about this, so I am not going in detail. So in this case, when the load is passing through the central axis, so here I want to know that term, that is stress. What is stress? So suppose I am taking one cross section XX. So I will draw the one free body diagram of it so that it will be more clear. So here I am drawing one free body diagram. Here the load is P, suppose A, and this section is X. Here you can see this is external load which we are applying. Now you can see here the resistance of this external force will come. तो यहाँ पे एक रेजिस्टेंस आएगा, है कि नहीं? सो हर मटेरियल का यहाँ पे एक इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस रहता है. सो यहाँ पे एक इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस आएगा. सो बिकॉज इट इज टेंसाइल, सो हियर द रेजिस्टेंस फोर्स विल बी ऑल्सो टेंसाइल. So this tensile force will summarize and will be equal to the external force, that is P. Suppose all will combine and that will become our P. This is the internal resistance. Now we can define the stress. The internal resistance provided by the body when one external load will be applied to that body. So that will become, we can denote it by sigma, that is stress, the internal resistance of that body, that is P per unit area. So this is defined as stress, that is normal stress. Why it is called normal? Because you can see the section is perpendicular that load. So normal means perpendicular. So as it is perpendicular, so it is called normal stress. We can tell normal direct stress. So that will be equal to the internal resistance by the body by per unit area. We are taking, हम क्यों यहाँ पे P लेते हैं? क्योंकि the same force that we are applying, that will be equal to the summarize of this all forces. This all forces will be equal to P. So हम वही फोर्स को लेते हैं यहाँ पे स्ट्रेस कैलकुलेट करने के लिए पर यूनिट एरिया ऑफ दैट सेक्शन. ओके, सो दिस इज डायरेक्ट नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस. सो नाउ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन एवरी टर्म वी शुड नो द यूनिट. सो हियर यू कैन सी द यूनिट ऑफ लोड, दैट इज न्यूटन. SI unit you are taking, that is Newton. And per area unit you can know meter square. Okay, so this will be the unit of stress, Newton per meter square, that is you can tell Pascal. Okay, otherwise this unit can be Newton per mm square, that can be called mega Pascal. Whichever you can want, you can give the unit. That may be Newton per meter square, that will be Pascal, or Newton per mm square, that will be megapascal. So in this case we are applying tensile force, and that force is along the centroidal axis. So this will be the result. The right hand side, the same thing. Free body diagram you can draw, that B and X, you will take B, and here will the internal resistance will come, that will be P, and P by A, the same thing, that will come normal stress. So in this case I want to give more idea about this. In this case I have taken the section here, XX हम यहाँ पे लिए. अगर हम suppose close to that end, if I will take suppose here one x dash and x dash. Suppose this lateral dimension length is suppose B. The width of that section is B. You can see here that this length is less than B. Obviously it is observing, you can observe it is less than B. Suppose this is suppose Y. You can tell B is obviously greater than Y. So in this case, when you will take the section here, you cannot tell that the internal resistance, that is stress, is uniformly distributed. Here I have already shown that it is uniformly distributed all over the section. But if that section will be close to that one end, then you cannot tell that the stress distribution is uniform like this, because as the section is more close to that load, so one stress concentration will come at that end, and the section is close to that point. So in this case the stress distribution is non-uniform. So you have to take care of it. So the section is, that is why in the most of the cases we are taking the section far away from that section area. If it is more close to that, then that stress distribution will be non-uniform. That you have to take care of it. But in strength of material case, this we are not taking. We are generalized the statement that stress distribution, direct normal stress distribution is normally uniform. But actual case is when the section will be close to that end, as it is load is applied here, so one stress concentration will be there. So the more stress will be at the nearer end and the less stress will be reducing like this. So that is non-uniform. That cannot be uniform like this. So this is for understanding purpose. So we are taking always B is less than Y dash. Suppose this is Y dash, so that is always greater than the lateral dimension. Okay. So this is the case. So this is the case of tension and passing through centroidal axis. Suppose in the next case, if I will tell the load is passing through the centroidal axis and it is compressive. You can see here it is compressive force, but it is passing through the neutral axis or centroidal axis. So in this case the same thing will occur, but when you take the section here, I am drawing here the free body diagram. Suppose it is A, it is B. So suppose this is a section XS, this is A. Here you are giving the compressive load here, just opposite of tension, that is compression. Compression load यहाँ पे देते हैं हम, तो यहाँ पे जो resistance आएगा वो भी compressive होगा. So this will be like this. Again I am repeating the same statement. This XX is far away from the section, suppose that is B. So this is Y. Then we are assuming that Y is greater than B. The lateral dimension is less than the section we are taking. So this is Y, that is greater than the width of the section, that is least lateral dimension, that is B. So in this case, if we are applying compressive force, the same compressive resistance will come here, that is summarized, that will be P. So you can tell the stress, it is stress that will be equal to same thing P by A. Nothing difference, that will be A. Unit will be also same. I already told Newton per meter square, that is Pascal, or you can tell Newton per mm square, that is megapascal. So 1 mega you already know, that is equal to 10 to the power 6. So if I will tell 1 megapascal, that will be 10 to the power 6 Pascal. All unit conversion you have to remember for competitive point of view, otherwise you cannot solve any problem. So this is the case of compressive and tensile force that is also passing through the centroidal axis, which I told in the previous that suppose this is P and this is also P A B, and this is suppose lateral dimension is B, and you are taking more close to that one, suppose Y, and in this case the B is greater than Y. So in this case what will happen, if you want to take the stress uniform, you can attach one rigid bar here. If you will connect one rigid bar at both the ends, at that point in this case, if you will take the section at x-axis, the stress concentration will not be there at this nearer point because this is rigid body. But in strength of metal, we are generally taking elastic body. If you want to take the stress distribution uniform, you have to attach rigid bar at both the ends. Then you will take the section nearer to that end. At that point, the stress distribution will be uniform. It will not be non-uniform because one rigid bar is connected here. So the same thing, if you will take the stress at x-axis, you can write P by A, and you can denote the stress distribution is uniform, that is sigma P by A. You can denote like this. If this bar will not be connected, then you cannot say that is it is uniform. You cannot say it should be non-uniform. Clear? So we will move when this load will not pass through this centroidal axis. The next case, the normal stress is over. Now we'll move to the bending stress. So bending stress I am denoting here sigma B. So what is bending stress and how it is coming, I will explain here. Suppose you are taking a body AB and you want to give some load, suppose P. So this is the centroidal axis of the body, that is CG, and you are giving the load at some distance above or below the centroidal axis. Suppose I am giving above, that is tensile force I am giving, suppose P. Clear? So one distance will be there from the central axis to the load position. Suppose the distance I am denoting here E. Why I have denoted here E? E is generally called eccentricity. Whenever the load will not pass through the central axis, you can denote that distance is eccentricity. अगर लोड हमारा सेंट्रल एक्सिस से पास नहीं होता है तो जहां भी पास होता है वो डिस्टेंस को हम एसेंट्रिसिटी बोलते हैं, एंड दैट टर्म विल कम ऑब्वियसली इन दैट केस. सपोज दैट इज P and you are giving the load here. This distance is eccentricity E. In this case, what will happen? You cannot tell that is uniform stress will occur, and you cannot write P by A just. So in this case, what we will do? You can tell, you already know if one load and one distance will come, another term that is will come, that is moment. So in this case you can tell ये लोड हमारा बॉडी को बेंड कर रहे हैं, so you can tell the term that is bending moment. Okay, so one bending moment will come, so I'm denoting here, it is M. So moment, you already know, moment means load multiplied by distance, that perpendicular distance. So in this case the bending moment is called load, that is already know, that is P multiplied by the distance. So the distance from the neutral axis to the load position, that is E, eccentricity. So the bending moment can be calculated by multiplication of load into eccentricity. So that will give you the bending moment. Load, the eccentricity, that will be equal to our bending moment. So now you can see the effect of this bending moment towards the bending stress. So in this case you can tell here is the neutral axis and the load is like this. So it is obvious, quite observing thing, that the load moment will be like this, M, load into eccentricity. So this will be rotate like this. So the load will be rotating like this by using the eccentricity. So the moment direction will be like this. Here the direction will be like this. Okay. So this moment is generally called hogging moment. If the direction of that moment will be like this, so you can tell this is sagging moment. Detail about sagging moment, bending moment, hogging moment we will study in one chapter is there, bending, shear force and bending moment. That case it will be clear, but here just some for understanding I am just writing this, that is hogging moment, this is sagging moment. So after application of this moment we will see the effect of this moment in our bending stress. So how will you know the effect? So the load is at the top of our neutral axis. Suppose this is neutral axis. At the top we can tell this is eccentricity. So before going to that, I am just want to clarify the doubt of everyone, that is between neutral axis and centroidal axis. Generally centroidal axis is our along the longitudinal direction. This is length and this is width of that section. In this case you can tell this is centroidal axis, but in neutral axis just perpendicular that central axis, but they are passing through the same point, neutral axis point, in this point. But if you want to denote our neutral axis, you can denote like this. This is B, this is D. In this case you can tell this is neutral axis, this is width and this is depth, this is neutral axis. But in this case here it is length, it is width, it is along the, this axis is along the longitudinal direction. So this is called centroidal axis, but this is called neutral axis. This is along the width of that section, just perpendicular that axis. So I hope the doubt will be clear between the neutral axis and centroidal axis. So now I will teach you the effect of this moment towards the bending stress. So here we will see the effect of this moment towards the our bending stress. So I am drawing the free body diagram here. Suppose here is the body and here the moment is applying here. Suppose I am taking section XX. So this is our central axis. So in this case the moment will try to be tension at the above the neutral axis and compression below the neutral axis. So the internal resistance will be tension at the upper end above the neutral axis, and it is compressive below the centroidal axis. So in this case we can draw the distribution like this. You can tell the tension is positive and the compression is negative. In most of the books, it will follow they are taking tension as positive and compression as negative, but you can alter tension as negative and compression also positive. There is no defined any rule that is tension should be always positive. You can tell tension is negative, compression also positive, but that should be uniform throughout your problem. So you cannot take first tension is positive, after sometime you are telling that tension will be negative. That will not be the case. Whatever you are taking, that should be uniform throughout your solving the problem. So this will be the case. Above the central axis that will be positive, that is tension force, and below that is negative. So now you can calculate the stress, that is, suppose I am telling sigma b, that is bending stress, by taking the moment divided by this moment, means the bending moment divided by z. So now the question will arise, what is z? Z means section modulus. Section modulus of the structure. So that can be calculated by dividing the moment of inertia by the y, the distance between the neutral axis to the fiber, that is I by y. The details about section modulus we can study later. For this point, you can know the section modulus is just the moment of inertia by distance from the neutral axis to the fiber, where we are calculating the z. So by knowing the bending moment and section modulus, you will calculate the bending stress. So here you can observe here the moment can be increased by increasing the y value. Suppose the y value is more, so the moment will increase and the bending stress will also increase. So it will increase generally at the top fiber, yes or no? Because y is the distance from the top fiber to the central axis. So if you are increasing the y, the bending moment is also increasing and simultaneously the bending stress is also increasing. So you can tell the failure will occur at the top fiber due to the tension. In the same case, when the compression will be more, and the failure will be due to compression. So in generalized case, in the brittle material, you can see that failure is due to only tension. You can tell cast iron, concrete, whatever, it is strong in tension and weak in compression. But in exception is our mild steel, that is ductile material. In ductile material, they are both strong in tension and compression. They both value will be same. Generally, they are weak in shear. What is shear? What is shear stress? We will study in the next session. So we are not going to that. So हम यहाँ पे क्या सीखे? यहाँ पे टेंशन आ रहा है, तो the failure will occur at the top fiber because the tensile stress will be more at the top. Here you can see the tension is more at the top. So the failure due to tension will be at the top fiber, and this value is decreasing when we are coming to the down. So when you are starting from the bottom, the value is again decreasing, the compressive stress, that is maximum at the bottom and decreasing time to time when we are going to up. So this is the point where the bending stress is 0. So here this is the point, the bending stress 0, you can tell this is the neutral axis point. At that point the bending stress is 0. The positive and negative, they are counterbalance. In everything you can, हम कहीं भी चीज को देख सकते हैं, यहाँ पे पॉजिटिव है या नेगेटिव है, दोनों जहाँ पे टकराए वहाँ पे कोई भी फोर्स या कोई भी स्ट्रेस नहीं आ रहा है, वहाँ पे जनरली 0 रहता है पॉइंट. दैट इज न्यूट्रल एक्सिस पॉइंट, where the central axis and neutral axis both the line passes through. So this is the bending stress case. So now the third case, the last portion of this session. Now what I will do here, I am giving one extra load. The bending is there. Again I am giving one load here. Suppose this is P. Here also I am taking tensile force, that is P. Okay. So here you can see you are getting the axial stress, that is direct normal stress P, that is normal stress, that is P by A. Again you are getting one bending stress, that is sigma B. Okay, that is M by Z. We are not going to the calculation part of sigma B, just remember sigma B will also come into play. So now we will draw the stress distribution diagram. We just combine the first two cases and we'll get the result. You can observe here in the first case, that is here it is P and the cross line is A, so the direct normal stress is P by A and distribution like this. As it is tensile, so I am taking the direction like this and it is positive because we have taken the tension as positive. So one more stress will come, that is bending stress. Bending stress distribution I already drawn in the before slide. The distribution will be like this. The neutral axis, above that tension, below that compression. So when in some cases the both will apply, that is normal stress will come and the bending stress will also come in some cases. In this case you just combine. So in this case what will happen? So sigma D greater than sigma B. So in this case the value will be more at the top fiber and it will be less at the bottom fiber. So suppose this is neutral axis, so all will be positive because sigma D is greater than sigma B. Plus minus it will come plus here. The value is maximum here at the top fiber and the bottom fiber it is minimum. This is the first case. So I am moving to the second case where the bending stress is more than the direct stress. Here somehow the value will come, but in the bottom fiber it will come compressive because the bending stress that is more. So the negative value will be more. So negative minus, if you will add both, the resultant will be negative at the bottom. In the third case, this is the second case. The third case, when the direct stress will be equal to the bending stress. So in that condition what will happen? At the top fiber it will be added, but at the bottom fiber it will be 0 because both the value is equal. Plus 5 minus 5 it will be 0. So this value will be 0. So here you can calculate the value just by adding the value P by A plus M by Z. Here also you can calculate P by A minus M by Z. Here also same thing, P by A plus M by Z. Here M by Z is more, so I am writing M by Z minus P by A. So this will come generally negative. Otherwise you can write P by A minus M by Z, no problem in it. It will come negative, so there is no issue. You can write P by A minus M by Z because M by Z value is more, so you will get negative value. Here also same thing, P by A plus M by Z both are same. This value and this value both are equal here. So this value will be added. Here the value will be same. So P by A minus M by Z both will be cancelled. That is why the value is 0 here. This is the session in which we have studied the direct normal stress and the bending stress. What is normal stress? What is bending stress? I hope you all clear in that topic. In the next session we will study what is shear stress. So this much for today's session. Thank you.